How's it going, guys? Here's the CS student again, and today we're going to be doing a challenge from Portswigger Academy, which is a SQL Injection challenge. The lab, for those that want to try it, is called SQL Injection Vulnerability in Where Clause, allowing retrieval of hidden data. I hope you guys know what is SQL and what is the word clause, because we're going to need it. They give you this piece of code, piece of query from SQL that says, select all from products where category equal to gifts and released equal to 1. But first, let's read the description, alright? It says, this lab contains a SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. Let's access the lab meanwhile, so we can also see like what they mean. Otherwise, I cannot explain the description and makes some sense. And while this loads, which I'm pretty sure is here, yep, it's done. So I'm just going to refresh this website so it doesn't do anything. Alright, cool. So this lab contains an SQL injection vulnerability in the product category filter. When the user selects a category, the application carries out a SQL query like the following. So you can see this is a category filter over here. And if I, for example, click lifestyle, it filters out some, right? If I click on gifts, it does the same. So what's going to happen is we're going to have to do something that they ask over here. It says to solve this laboratory, perform a SQL injection attack that causes the application to display details of all products in any category, both released and unreleased. So by default, it's just showing out like those that have been released by one you can relate it to true or false, right? 1 in this case will be true and 0 will be false. So what we'll need to do is we'll need to add this piece of query into the filter and then just change it to 0. And I have copied the query already to a text editor. Just to explain what we need to do is we need to break the query in a way that we get it like this, and everything else to the right we don't really care about. And we have to say, for example, and gifts equal to, let's just try, yep, and released equal to 0. For right now, what I'm doing is just saying, okay, select all the ones that are in gifts and that have not been released, right? But the problem is that this part over here will be still in the query, and if we leave this like that, because of this single quote, it will break and it will throw us an error. So how do we avoid that? We comment that out. In SQL, you can normally comment things like that, or in different SQL types, like I believe is MySQL or Postgres, you can use hash instead. MariaDB is hash, I believe. For Postgres is like this. We're going to use -- for this time. So what are we going to do? We're going to copy this part over here. Yep. And what we're going to do is we are going to paste it on the challenge over here. We're going to select gifts and we're going to paste that little piece over here that says and release equal to 0 -- I want you to check the products over here that we have, and let's see if anything changes. And as you can see, we got an error, and the reason why we got an error, it's because gifts and release, yes. Oh, it has to be released. All right. So we select that again, all the way here, and we paste it. Yep. And as you can see, there is this one that hasn't been released, right? High-end gift wrapping. So in your case might be different. I'm pretty sure that every time you spawn a lab, it just changes the picture. So you might have just one, right? But the question, we haven't solved this challenge yet. Like, as you can see, the status is still not solved. So how do we actually solve this one? Well, if we go back to the description, it says all products. Like, we need to display details of all products in any category, both released and unreleased. Okay, so now let's go back to our query and let's see what we can say. Okay, so if we, for example, try to press all, you can see that there is no filter, so we can't modify that part. So let's go back to what we had here in gifts, just gifts alone, yeah. And let's go back to our query, and let's just say for 1 equal to 1. So what does this mean? Okay, well, I'm gonna select either gifts or anything that equals to 1, or basically anything that's valid, right? Everything that just matches. 1 equal to 1, well, yeah, that's true, because 1 equals 1, right? So what this is going to evaluate is going to evaluate to true, and it's just going to get gifts and anything else that matches, anything else that's just true, right? And it will get all of those that are not released. So let's just select that bit of code, starting from the quote, from the single quote, all the way to the last comment, and we paste that part after the gifts, and if everything is right, we should pass the challenge. And as you can see over here, it says solved, and congratulations, you solved the lab. So that's it for this challenge. I hope you guys understood like the idea behind SQL injection, and if you got any questions, just drop them on the comments. I'll make sure to answer them. Alrighty guys, see you later.